Welcome to the City Current Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference, empowering the good. And in this case, we're talking about food and opportunities for youth. We're honored to be joined by Teri Sloan, Development Director with Cafe Momentum Nashville. How are you doing?
Hey, Jeremy. I'm great. How are you?
Doing good. Anytime we have a chance to combine culinary and opportunities for youth and training and internships, that's a great combination. So let's go ahead and start with a little bit of history and some context. When you talk about Cafe Momentum Nashville, give us a little bit of context.
Absolutely. So Cafe Momentum Nashville has been operating here locally for about 2 years, but we got our start almost 10 years ago in Dallas, Texas, which is the home of the original Cafe Momentum, which was started by a chef named Chad Hauser, who got an opportunity to work with some young men from their local juvenile justice detention center. And he loved working with those young men and said, I see so much opportunity for these young men if they're just given that opportunity. And so a few years later, he created Cafe Momentum Restaurant, which was a restaurant to employ those young men and their young women in their juvenile justice system. And so it's been going on for almost 10 years in Dallas. And about 2 years ago, they started a national expansion effort and chose Nashville as the first city outside of Dallas to expand to. So we have been operating here for about 2 years, and we have already worked with almost 60 local young people, providing them training and support in life skills, social skills, and of course, culinary job training. So we give them training and support, case management, and actual paid work opportunities to work in our catering and events programs.
Yeah, and so I want to dive in deep because when you look at the impact it's having on all fronts, it's powerful. And so talk about where you find the youth, where the youth find you. You mentioned obviously the justice involved. So, providing hope, providing opportunities, all of this plays a factor, but talk about where it starts.
Yes, so we are a formal collaborator with our local juvenile justice court system. And in Nashville, we have a really incredible diversion network. And it is about 20 to 30 different nonprofit agencies who all collaborate with the juvenile courts. And we all refer young people to each other. So either we get a referral from the courts directly, or maybe another one of our partners has gotten a referral from the courts or the school system. They've worked with that young person and they see that work opportunity might be a good next step for them and would connect them with us. So we're really kind of always collaborating with any player in the juvenile justice space here in Nashville to find young people who are really ready for our program. And we take it from there and provide work opportunity, training, and case management support.
Paint the picture. I know it's broad and it's also individualized with each young man, young woman, but give us an idea of what the youth are dealing with, have dealt with. So in other words, paint the picture of the individuals you're working with in terms of what their challenges are and what they're tackling.
Yes, I would say the young people that we're working with have so many challenges ahead of them, but in many ways, I would say they're very similar to what you and I were like as adolescents. We all face challenges as teenagers and have all of the different competing priorities, all of the different things that come our way, and not the skills and the experience to always deal with it. I luckily had a community of support around me that helped me navigate through those times and those challenges, who gave me a second chance when I needed it, who helped me when I needed a leg up. And we really look to be that for the young people that we are working with. So they are 15 to 19-year-olds facing so many of the same challenges that every adolescent faces. They just may not have the support around them that maybe I had as a 16-year-old. And so we really seek to provide that. We are working with young people who have had some involvement with the juvenile justice system. That can range all the way from being in a detention center all the way down to involvement with truancy court. because they've, missed too much school. So really kind of anything in between is what we are really working for, to identify those young people and give them the supports that they need to create pathways outside of the justice system.
So when you talk about the program, providing hope, providing skills, conflict resolution, team building, professional etiquette, like there's a lot that goes into this, and it's a multi-tiered approach. So let's start with the first tier. Go ahead and start where it starts.
Yes. So our tier 1 is 48 hours of really hands-on training. So we are providing both classroom style training and training in the kitchen. And those two really complement each other. We're working through a national curriculum that was developed by the National Restaurant Association Education Foundation that's really focusing on core life skills of communication, so personal responsibility, empathy, and customer service. So we're training both in the kitchen and in the classroom on these core competencies. Once they complete about 48 hours of training, then they get promoted and we put them to work. And so we give them paid work opportunities at a minimum of $15 an hour through our catering and events. They are doing everything from working alongside our chef in the kitchen to prepare the food, to plating, to serving, really kind of everything, so that they learn what it's like to work in a food service position. And not all of our young people want to work in food service long term, but we do see that the restaurant space, the food service space, is an incredible training ground for so many of the skills that you need in life. And so we really use that as an environment to teach those skills, but not necessarily limit the young people to that for their eventual opportunity. Once the young people have worked with us for a while and they've really demonstrated some competency in those core areas, we find an external employment partner and connect them with that employment partner. And as part of that, we ask that all of our employment partners commit to mandatory minimum hourly wages. We ask them to commit to providing a supportive environment, a youth development informed environment, and a youth affirming environment. And then we connect them with the young person. And then for the first few months of their employment, we provide ongoing case management for the young person and the employer to make sure that it's a good fit and that everything's working.
As you mentioned, you've already had some great success with the number of youth going through the program. What have been some of the testimonials already that you've received?
We have heard amazing things from our young people themselves who say that this program has given them confidence, has shown them skills that they already had. I think that's something that's so wonderful about the program, is that we really try to focus not on a deficit-based mindset, but really a skill-based mindset of these young people have skills, they have talents and creativity. We're just helping them figure out how to use that to better themselves. We have heard wonderful testimonials from parents who say that their children have been involved with lots of different organizations, receiving lots of different supportive services, but something clicked in a different way when they started the Cafe Momentum program. And we've heard from clients who had us cater their events that the food is top-notch quality, and that they've been so impressed interacting with the young people, with really just the people that they have met through that. And I think one of the biggest testaments is that we have had several of our young people who have referred friends and family into the program. It's not always easy to get through to and engage teenagers. But the fact that for some of these young people, they got so much from the program that they found friends and family who were also just as impacted and said, you need to do this program. It's really amazing.
I think the other thing that's really neat about this is, in a cool way, they're learning the skills. They're also learning how to cook and prepare food and meals. I mean, so there's a real world application just on the learning to prepare meals. Then the customer service aspect, like you're talking about too. And when you step into the world of catering and interacting and being professional, but sharing your story with others, and then for the audience, the client, so to speak, for them to engage as a nonprofit side, to realize that you're providing opportunities for the youth and to get to know them and their stories, like that's a cool angle too. So on both sides, there's growing and relationship building in the community. And so carry that into how the community can help, because already when you think about the catering side, the restaurant side, like all these different things, there's many ways that the public can help your efforts.
Absolutely. I mean, of course, I would be a terrible development director if I didn't say the best way to help is to donate, donate, donate. We love donations, and especially as we enter the holiday season, it is really a time when we will be asking people to consider turning their generosity to Cafe Momentum Nashville. But there are definitely other ways. We host events all throughout the year, so attending our events, and then of course catering. We have a robust catering program where we have catered for companies, for organizations, for individuals in their homes. So really to think about Cafe Momentum when you're looking to cater your next meeting or event, that not only provides the organization with critical revenue, which is of course important, but it also, that is opportunity for work for our young people. Those catering jobs line up and create the opportunity for us to continue engaging and connecting with and providing meaningful work opportunities for each and every young person. So all of those are really critical and very important to this work.
Yeah, when you think about running a business, running a restaurant, paying the employees, paying the youth, because that is a big piece of this, is to keep them on the right path, providing the economic opportunity with the workforce development opportunity. Like it all goes together, but that costs money. And so for
Yes.
that, to be able to have the public help underwrite your efforts is monumentally important. And so talk about kind of that side of it, the financial, the budget side of what it takes to bring all this together.
Absolutely. It is a pretty high undertaking. And that is because not only are we are paying our young people for, they get paid $10 an hour for the training program, and then a minimum $15 an hour for the work opportunities in tiers 2 and 3. And $15 an hour is a lot more than a lot of restaurants are paying their starting staff, because we really work not just to pay a wage, but to pay a living wage. And even, when the young people are working in the eventual restaurant, from the servers all the way to the kitchen to the dishwashing, every single role will be paid minimum $15 an hour, which is a lot higher than you would see in a typical restaurant. So that makes philanthropy really critical to the long-term success of this organization. The restaurant and the catering, of course, will will continue to generate revenue to fund the work, but we will always be reliant on the support of our community to continue and round that out.
And I think when you look at it from an audience perspective, it's providing youth with positive outlets to grow and to go on the right path, to be productive citizens and parents in the future, and all these things. Like they become entrepreneurs and leaders, and you're equipping them with the foundation for success. It's also the economic and workforce development opportunities like we're talking about. When you talk about the service sector and there being job shortages, even though, like you mentioned, they might go in all these different career paths, but you are helping to equip, when you talk about the service sector, the restaurant industry, you are providing a pipeline of talent for that. And so I think on all regards, leadership, character building, conflict resolution, all of those sides, the personal, but then the professional side, the service industry, you're providing a lift in the community that I think is important to touch on as well. Carry that into, when you look at the community, that ripple effect. Give us one more thing that really stands out to you in terms of the importance of your work.
Yes, I think here in Nashville, we have been facing a staffing shortage in our hospitality industry for probably well over a decade. Many communities really started feeling that since the pandemic, but in Nashville, we've been feeling it for a lot longer. And so I do think that we are training the next generation of hospitality workers here in Nashville, and that is very significant for a community that is so hospitality and tourism focused in, its general economy. So I think that is really huge. And I will say, the restaurant model was not chosen by accident, in terms of of why restaurant as the model for training and providing this workforce development. The hospitality industry and restaurant industry as a whole has a long history of a lot of opportunity for upward mobility. It has a lower barrier to entry than a lot of industries where you might be very successful, but you only can get into those if you have a 4-year degree. Or lots of connections. The restaurant industry has typically been really open to people from all backgrounds, which is really, really wonderful, and a lot of opportunity for growth. And so that's really why Cafe Momentum originally in Dallas used the restaurant as a way to build that, because it was not just creating opportunity through workforce development, but creating opportunity through workforce development in an industry that has a lot of opportunity for growth for these young people. And here in Nashville, that growth, I mean, the sky's the limit with that growth here in Nashville. And so it really is very intentional that is the way that we choose to do that, for our young people and for our community.
Absolutely. We'll wrap up with contact information. Where do we go to carry this conversation forward to get involved? So website, where would you send us?
Yes, definitely check out our website, which is cafemomentum.org/Nashville. We're also active on Facebook and Instagram. Just look up Cafe Momentum Nashville and you'll find us. So yes, definitely look us up.
Well, Teri, thank you for all you and your amazing team do. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Higginbotham Insurance and Financial Services is proud to power the City Current Show. We're a people-first company that protects what matters most, the families, businesses, and trailblazers that keep our community going. As one of the nation's top independent insurance firms, Higginbotham is a single-source solution for business insurance, employee benefits, HR services, and personal insurance that's customized for you. We're here to serve you, the people you care about, and your community. Call 866-377-1959 or visit higginbotham.com.